exactly. You know, you can just wait. You can wait it out. It forces the hand of Dark every time. He's going to have to come into the joke to fight. He's going to trade very cost inefficiently. And that's the problem with going late game against the Mech Terran like that. You kind of run out of options and what to do against an army that size.
Yeah, and you know what happened last game was Dark did the same sort of waiting game, but he was efficient. He was more efficient, so he had a big gas bank. This game, he kept losing units that he had to replace to survive, so he never had the bank to just sit back and then make 50 mules and go across the map.
That's right. FanTaSy very smartly making that early tank to shut down everything, put him in such a bad place.
Yeah. FanTaSy also making a very good late game composition. Not a whole lot of weakness in that army comp. Good ratio of pretty much everything, even adding in just a few Ravens. Just a few. All right, guys, let's go into game number 3 here. Find out which one of these players is going to take the lead.
That Pixar's FanTaSy, Jung Myung-hoon versus SK Telecom T1 Dot, Bang Myung-woo.
Over here in the red, on the right side, it's FanTaSy.
Here in the top left, we do have Dark. Now, do you hear the eerie noise on this map?
Yes.
Is that the actual map, or is that the sound, music?
I think it's the music.
Can't remember.
I think it's the music. We'll figure out in a few moments as the music starts to like progress.
It's actually a horrible sound.
It's terrifying.
It's like not good. It's not good. Oh well.
It's like a fiddle or something being played in the background.
Yeah.
That reminds me of like Five Goes West fiddle spider thing that happened. I don't know if that means anything to anybody or if that was just like my childhood.
The what? What happened to you?
There's like this like fiddle that plays as like a spider chase the character Fievel in Five Goes West. It was terrifying to me as a child. I mean, not like terrifying to where I'd be scared of, but I just remember being like, that was one of the scary parts of the
It's like an
movie.
eerie sound.
Yeah.
Like you probably, I don't know, it probably happened in like Lord of the Rings when Frodo's fighting that spider.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. You know, I'm sure it's the same sort of music. I guess there's just no ambient sound on this map.
Yeah, I guess not.
Just the song.
Very calm.
I want Brood War songs back, man.
Well, you know, I actually talked to a lot of people about this in like production. Not only here at EsportsTV, but also other companies, and like I've talked to the observers. Like Heaven, for example, the famous observer from Calm TV.
Right.
I talked to these people about it. I said, well, why don't you guys use the Brood War sounds out their back? And they always just said, we just don't think it sounds as good. I'm like, but I mean, just every now and then mix it up. You know, and they're like, no. And that's usually the answer I got. I'm not too enthusiastic about it.
Interesting.
And maybe also that you know, Blizzard wants them to use the StarCraft 2 sounds. I even like the idea of playing totally like outside of the client background music. Like
really?
Whatever music that the you know the production wants to play, make their own soundtrack for the game. I think that's also totally cool.
I don't know. That kind of, I feel it loses a lot of authenticity.
I guess to a certain extent, yeah.
I mean, we have never seen a tournament really do that before.
No one ever has. But I'm open to the idea. I'm not saying it should be that way. I'm just saying I'd like to see it, you know, tried.
Kind of makes it like a bit more of like a streamy sort of show. Like, you know, like streamers will play their own music.
Yeah. Well, I definitely wouldn't want them to play like punk music or like something like that while we're watching this. All right, here comes that Reaper. Just gonna do this thing. He's actually committing to a second Reaper. And we'll see if he gets any kills. Probably not, because that's just how the early game in TVZ goes.
Yeah, we've seen this a lot from FanTaSy as well in the past. Standard sort of opening for him will be the 3 Reaper into Hellions.
Yep.
Good map for it too. You know, that third base is a bit of a mission away. Like, it's not easy to take. Apply a lot of pressure early on.
Queen coming to ward this off. Second Reaper comes in. He's actually going to pull that Reaper out. I think he might lose it. 1 health left.
Wow.
So frustrating as a Zerg to see something like that too. You're like, oh, it's just going to go get it all back.
Yeah.
That's how I feel when I blink under Mutalisk and they get away. I'm like, oh, they're all going to go back. So, Kanata went to the bathroom again today. I don't know if you know this, but yesterday one of the series went a bit long, and Kanata just couldn't help it. He had to go to the bathroom. He kind of announced it. Everyone made a big deal and applauded when he left and came back.
That's pretty funny. Well, I'm glad the Korean commentators do that too. You know?
Because we do that all the time. I was talking to Brendan with this yesterday. I'm like, we do this all the time. You guys just don't know.
Well, it's like sometimes, like a best of 5 especially with no breaks in between, like that's ruthless. That it really is a long time, especially if it's going to be fantasy going mech most games.
Yeah, we might have to pull a Kanata a little bit later. I'm on my like 3rd bottle of water today.
Damn, you drank them fast.
Yeah.
Man on a mission. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so seeing no add-on on the rack so far, and there's the Starport. So at least it's going to be, Hellion Banshee to begin with, I believe.
Yeah. And we've seen a great success in the past on this map. I feel like the 3rd base on this map is better to take than on Echo. Just a little bit closer. Yeah. It's similar, but it's like a little bit closer.
Creeps are almost there already, so it is a lot easier to defend against this sort of stuff. We are seeing a Roach Horn once again from Dark, so he's pretty convinced it will be Banshees again.
Yep.
Sorry, not Banshees, Mech again. Definitely Banshees there.
A little bit of an annoying run by here actually forces these Hellions and Reapers to come back, but just for a second. Killing only a Marine. He saw his units were away though and took an opportunity. It was actually a pretty even trade. Some of these SCVs got damaged. This is a really scary push out here though. 4 Hellions and 3 Reapers, and the rest of the Hellions that can rally across. I'm going to actually poke up here, I think.
Could actually do a lot of trading with those queens. Only one has a transfuse as well. It's like he wants to play it safe though. He doesn't want to deal with like a mass links around, because if he loses these units, he is in a horrible place. He will lose map control. He will be constantly defending in the dark.
Yeah. I was thinking maybe he could go up and poke that hatch, but I guess with only 4 Hellions there, it's not going to be enough damage to really make it, work out. Like you said, it's too risky. Well, this game is, at this point getting into that point where we're going to see the 2nd factory. There it is. We're going to see the 3rd base lifted fairly soon. He's checking around, making sure there's no units to spot that. With this army that he's chosen, like he's got Reapers that he can harass with it. He's actually just going to do that. Harass with these, he can scout with these. They're very mobile. So he's got like 2 small, speedy forces of units, the Hellions and the Reapers.
Yeah, look at this Hellion run by to the 3rd base at the same time this is going on.
Yep. You get a few kills here.
Oh, it's going to do a lot of damage.
Wow, a ton of kills.
Oh, even
killing
more.
Almost every single one of these drones at this base. 9. One more lineup. 10. 10 is a lot of kills.
It's a lot of kills for 3 Hellions.
Made 10 more drones, 11 more drones, so he's going to replenish that, but that's larva spent. That makes his army weaker, which means that FanTaSy can take his 3rd base without a worry. I'm actually a bit surprised he's not trying to float that over yet, because he's scouted with these units significantly, like several times. There's no real roach threat on the map or anything like that. He was just at his base. Just playing it safe, though. Still getting the extra value from that, the mules, the extra SCVs. And just 1 armory so far.
Yeah, working on that attack upgrade. You want to get that up pretty quickly compared to everything else. Looks like he's finally going to start taking that 3rd base. No real army out in the map for Duck. He's just playing super greedy. He's trying to get that 4th base soon as well. He just wants to take it to the late game once again. He's confident that he can fight the army that FanTaSy will make. And it's going to be much of the same army. They're so far no Thors whatsoever, just simply investing in Andy Ground, tanks and Hellions, and Banshee.
Yeah. No
fear of mutas this game, it seems.
Well, he's trying to scout like all these constantly, and he hasn't seen much yet. I think what he's probably going to eventually start to figure out is there's just a lot of droning going on, especially after he replenishes those drones. I don't know if he saw the Hydralisk Den. I don't think so.
No, nothing yet. But he did see the Roach Warren at the block in the front there. So he knows at least that the Roach Tech's out there. And it's probably safe to assume that it would be like just another Andy sort of mech build with the ground army.
Yeah.
You should be a little wary of meter switches just in case. You still don't see a turret in any base.
Yeah, he's making a few Thors, but definitely turrets. Way to go. He sees Hydras now. Sees the Hydra Den as well as the Infestation Pit. So he's 100% aware now of what he's up against. Third base is up and running. Has been for a little while now. He's actually making so many depots to make so many different types of walls. Cloak almost ready as well for Banshees. Just a bit of a lull in the action here. Hydras are moving across the map. Yeah, and he's got a lot of roach support for them.
Yeah, you know, he could actually make something happen here. There's only 3 tanks set up at the front and 2 Thors. He wants to commit. He might be able to do some real damage.
Those Thors trying to micro back. Actually got a bit stuck. That one Thor getting so stuck. And he actually just doesn't have enough here. He just does not even have close to enough.
Whoa, he's just going to bulldoze it through.
Banshee's coming back so slow.
Well, there's still enough Hydras to deal with them for now.
If these siege tanks were in a better position, I feel like this could have been a totally different story. Look, there's even a siege tank over here to the left side that wasn't helping in that fight.
Oh, yeah. Now the Banshees want to help out, but still, Overseer remains. Enough Hydras to deal with them as well. And this third might even just be sacked.
I think he has to sack it, but I don't know if he can recover from this. He's going to lose his 4th CC. Good control on these Banshees. Like, really, really well done.
Yeah. Overseer getting pretty low at this point as well. More reinforcements coming down there.
Yeah, see, I think he might just end up dying.
I think he might.
Well, he's got a few more siege tanks, but here come the rest of the Hydras to come help out. Really good control here, really good crisis management by FanTaSy.
Still, I think it's going to cost him this third.
Definitely losing the third, and that's likely losing him the game. You could never remake mech generally anyways, and without the third base, it's basically impossible.
Yeah. And we're just going to see Vipers from this. So he's going to have like a way into the natural eventually when he's got enough energy on these Vipers for Blinding Cloud.
29 SCVs in total went down. 2 Hellion Harass. That's fancy for you. Gonna come over here again, try to find something.
Might actually find stuff.
Oh, look at this.
Oh.
The static defense a bit too late. Oh, a few more. Oh, I wasn't paying attention. Could get a lot of kills here.
Yeah, I think he...
Well, one was really low, I guess. But
yeah, still 7 so far. Ooh.
Well, he's resecured his third base. But he's down 80 supply. I think all that Dark has to do is gather his forces together and attack that third base again.
Yeah, making 2 more Vipers, maybe we'll wait for them.
Yeah.
Just to be safe, just to like really make it an easy engagement, but there is no way FanTaSy's going to be holding this third base when Dark decides to attack.
He's just got too much area to cover. The siege tanks are well spread. They're going to give him a good surface area, or rather a good area that's covered by their fire, like their range. It's also going to help them against Blinding Cloud, but there just aren't enough siege tanks together to actually burst down these roaches. They're all just going to die one by one as they end up getting picked off on the edge. I think. I mean, that's what it's starting to look like here.
Yeah, I completely agree with you there. You know, he might even just want to abduct everything. He doesn't have to like invest in Blinding Clouds.
Yeah, that's actually a good choice.
Just kill everything.
There we go. 1, 2, 3.
Has 4 Vipers now. Just waiting for more energy, I guess.
You do not want to lose Vipers to a turret. Be careful about that. The upgrades are continuing here. Hydra speed's almost done, which is going to, well, it's not almost done, but it's on the way. It's on a super long upgrade to get. But once that's done, he's going to actually be able to engage a lot more confidently, I feel, with this composition. Look how far he spread his creep, too.
Yeah. He's in such a commanding place. He could even add Aspire, go for Brutalize at the same time. There's no way he's going to have Vikings up in time to really deal with it either. He's making some now, but they're kind of like anti-Viper Vikings before he goes back into Banshee.
I'm actually really impressed if FanTaSy's been able to survive through this. Like, he held on and survived. I thought he was just going to roll over and die.
Yeah.
He still does not have a bank, whereas Dark has quite a bank. Found a few more Harvesters here. It's actually ahead in workers, funny as that is. All right, let's see how this fight goes. These tanks are almost too well split.
Yeah.
These supply depots are going to give them some time to reposition. A few Vikings get grabbed. An interesting choice.
Nice Blinding Cloud there on a couple of the tanks.
Yep. And here comes some more Abducts. Once the Blinding Cloud fades, he's going to have a lot of DPS here.
Well, these Banshees also doing a fantastic job, though.
And forces to cancel on that CC, but FanTaSy survives again. Ultraless on the way for the next step, though. FanTaSy just keeps using these depot walls to buy him time to reposition, which is pretty cool. I like that a lot.
Yeah, it's not an easy place to engage in on tanks, that's for sure.
Yeah. It's like taking an idea of using planetary fortresses as a wall, but like making an inexpensive version that you can make on the fly pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Like, look, it's going to work for him here again and buy him some time for just a few hundred minerals.
There's nothing you can do against this.
You might even want to think about, I guess, like making eBay walls with more hit points, but I guess you can't lower those, so that can be a bit of an annoyance.
You could even just make a planetary there if you had the space for it.
Yeah, it's a bit awkward with the space, and it's a bit more expensive, but...
It's like impregnable after that there. Like, you get a nice setup there. Tanks behind it. What are you going to do? Yeah. Very large queen count once again, as is the Dark fashion.
This is a amazing amount of crease spread too. Just looking at the main map, and like, whoa, goes pretty far.
Nearly covering every base that FanTaSy could take.
Yeah, that's another issue. FanTaSy's starting to get mined out. Like, he's gonna need a 4th base to be able to remake his units. He can't just sit here on these bases forever.
Yeah, being stuck on 3 bases like this as a mecher, like you would want your 4th base like minutes ago, especially up against a 5 base Zerg. It's gonna get a lot harder.
And Dark's ready to take a 6th whenever he wants. He's got 2 base locations. He can actually take both. And both fully available to him right now.
He probably should take both, just so he has creep spread there at the very least.
See Overlord drops being researched. He might actually go drop on top of these siege tanks or something.
That'd be cool. Might as well try something at this point. I'm just going to clear the game.
Hellions definitely not getting the damage they wanted done there. And, you know, at this point, taking that that bottom left base would be ideal for FanTaSy, but he's just kind of cut off. Grabbing some Vikings, grabbing some siege tanks. Energy for units, great trade always. Especially when that energy could be replenished by attacking your own buildings.
Oh, yeah. Sucking the life out of them.
It's almost like paying money to kill a unit or something. You can just remine that later. Roach is zoned out a little bit here by these Banshees. This is just him freeing up supply, I guess. That wasn't going to do much.
Might as well at this point. Roaches get very food inefficient, I guess, in the late game like this. They're just not that useful. You want Ultras, Hydras, Queens, and by the looks of things, Broodlords in just a moment.
Yep, Corruptors on the way. We're going to watch a Command Center die to Queens. It's going to happen. Watch us. Oh, wow, it saved it.
It's saved.
We almost saw history made today.
Yeah, we never see that. I want to see Flying Locusts again. I want to see what can happen and what can't happen.
Oh, I hope we actually get to see that.
I don't know, he doesn't seem to really believe in them anymore after he made 2 Swarmists. He didn't even get to use them.
You know, to be honest, like, they might be okay in this position. Like, if you think about it, like, make some of them to the north of the main base, just have them fly over there and start harassing.
I guess if they like start swooping on tanks, sieged up as well, like you're gonna find some damage there, right?
Yeah. And people haven't really experimented with them that much in Korea yet, so people are scared to use them for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, they may have experimented and just decided that that kind of thing isn't worth it either. That's definitely something else that I just don't really know.
I'm sure the first thing everyone did when the patch came live was go for Swarm Host and see what happens. And
well, these Hellions just keep running into these spine crawlers. To be honest, Wingblade, like 3 kills here. I guess it's okay. The Viking count is, I'd say it's fairly adequate to deal with these Broodlords, but he's got to be careful about the Vipers pulling and killing the rest of those. Also, Fungals, definitely an issue.
Yeah, only 8 Vikings at this point.
Yeah, okay.
All the siege tanks are gonna have to like pull back the moment they start shooting on them, because otherwise there's gonna be so much friendly fire. So it's gonna put them out of place at the very least, even if they eventually go down. He's gonna move back a little bit. Oh, he's just gonna attack. Here we go.
Oh boy, here we go. There's so many Vipers here as well. Blinding Clouds on everything. And Hydras and Queens are dealing with the Vikings just fine. Look at that. That's a green Blinding Cloud map right there.
Yeah, it's a massive cleanup. And all the tanks are going down at this point.
The Broodlords didn't even really help that much. They were like lagging behind.
They're
now
killing
they're starting
SCVs.
to help. Yeah.
Well, it might be.
There's a bungle.
Nice
Queens
bungle.
and Hydra's going to finish this off. And that's going to be all she wrote. Do is probably like, well, I know Wolfie's up only 30 supply. Look at the bank.
The bank just says it all. It could be 32 mutas in just a second as well. That's gonna
7
be
ultras.
7 ultras. All right.
He can make mutas too. He can make whatever he wants. He still has 10 ultras. GG.
All right.
That wasn't a fantasy GG time. And who's that?
No, that was way too quick. Another pretty drawn-out game. Fantasy in his mech.
Fantasy in his mech, man.
Fantasy in his mech.
That's all there is to say.
That's it. Well, he's got 1 life left now. Find out what the map for is in just a moment as well. It should be Cactus Valley, I believe. Not Inferno Pools just yet.
Yeah. Inferno Pools got banned by Dark. So, yeah, Cactus Valley and then Iron Fortress, I believe, was the order.
Oh, that's right. Good point.
I think that's the order.
I believe.
I'm pretty sure.
I think so.
Which is funny because we've seen mech on almost every map, and the next 2 maps are going to be the bigger ones.
The bigger ones indeed.
So,
Cactus Valley is this one. Okie dokie.
Just looking at the events, he says he was talking about those. He came all the way from Busan to come here.
Wow.
And he brought his friend, so he's saying he wants to get the present because he is the Viper, and he gets it.
The Viper strikes again.
So, nicely done.